Well, good morning. Welcome to Saturday's edition of Quarantining with Pastor Michelle, or how about we just call it Daily Videos with Pastor Michelle? I think that sounds better. Well, we are all still quarantining as best as we can during these times. This morning, I thought we'd start out with some good news and finish up this week's edition of CNN's Good News. And so, So yesterday we heard about the woman who was saved by the New York City firefighter, and today we heard about the two graduates who went through a lot to be able to graduate. And so if you're in the state, here's some other good news. It's an idea. If you're in the state of New Hampshire, we have a new summer project for you: bat counting. Yikes! No thanks. The state's Fish and Game Department is looking for volunteers to help count bats, to keep track and report the numbers on their property as part of a statewide bat counting project. They want to keep an eye on different bat communities because of a disease called white nose syndrome that is threatening bat colonies across North America. So we love it when states or communities ask citizens to participate in ecological projects, even if it is counting bats. It gets everyone involved in the world around them and can provide critical research that would be hard to replicate any other way. So I don't know if that's good news or, yeah. Also, Lewis Miller, the owner of a floral design called Lewis Miller Design, has been transforming New York City's grittiest spots into giant flower displays for years. He calls them flower flashes, and it's probably scientifically impossible not to smile when looking at them. Lately, Miller has been creating gorgeous works of art around the city in honor of healthcare workers and for everybody who just needs a little more color in their lives. And so I want you to see, here is a picture. There we go. That is beautiful, right? Just some flowers. And then Heroes Among Us. We have another hero here. For many children in foster care in the U.S., there are more than 400,000 of them. Daily life is hard enough. During a pandemic, it gets more challenging. Danielle Glatow, a 2013 CNN hero, is working to change that. Her organization, One Simple Wish, grants wishes to foster kids and young adults who have aged out of the system. The organization recently started a COVID-19 fund, and she's noticing the requests are a little different. Laptops, tablets, and other remote learning technology are big needs. For the young adults, it's help with rent and utilities. Through gift cards, donations, and other financial support, she's trying to make sure those foster kids and young adults know there's still support out there. And there's a picture. Let's see, where's that? Want to get away. This is still CNN. These elegant pointy trees in the remote Tasmanian highlands are called pencil pines, and right now it's their time to shine. The ancient trees can live for 1,000 years, but they only bear seed once. They only bear seed, every once in a while. This rare event known as massing last took place in 2015. Now in the middle of everything else going on in the world, it's happening again. So these trees are bearing seed right now. Some scientists have made the trek to Tasmania's elegant wilderness to harvest these precious seeds. And so I like that quote by Thomas Paine: "The world is my country, all mankind are my brethren, and to do good is my religion." Yikes. Here's something for you to think about as you fall asleep tonight. The little anchovies that come all wadded up in a tin can, well, their prehistoric relatives were large predators with sharp fangs. An international group of researchers released information about two species of these saber-toothed anchovies that roamed the seas about 40 to 45 million years ago. Simple predatory fish species evolved into animals that we see today, like mackerels, tunas, and barracuda. Barracuda. All right, sorry, I just think of the one song. And here's something else from CNN. You know, it's hard to ignore the pain radiating through the nation in the wake of the tragic death of George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, and Breonna Taylor. It's hard to know what to say and even harder to know what to do. And so if you look on CNN, here's a list of tangible, meaningful ways to be an ally in your to marginalized communities as we work through this difficult time together. And Let's just see the Shameless Animal video, shall we? It's a dog and a bunch of bunnies. Who would know? So let's see. We'll watch it for a second. That was a good movie, by the way. All right. Sorry. Oh my gosh. All right, so the first thought that came to my mind when I was watching that is our dog and how the bunnies wouldn't make it out alive if it was our dog laying there with a bunch of bunnies, because my dog is a killer. So anyway, I hope everyone's doing okay. Let's have some reflection, shall we, from Embers. There's some good news for us to start our Saturday morning. In the dark depths of long winter nights, spirits slumber too and allow their stories to be told. These are the storytelling moons. Elders and storytellers who have been given tales to carry speak softly, reverentially, and the people hear them. The people do not merely listen, they hear. To hear is to have a spiritual, mental, emotional, or physical reaction to the words, sometimes at very special times. You have all four reactions and are changed forever. Share stories. Fill cold nights with the warmth of your connections, your relationships. Hear each other and be made more. That is the power of storytelling. Remember that Creator is the wind on my face, the rain in my hair, the sun that warms me. Creator is the trees, rocks, grasses, and the majesty of the sky and the intense mystery of the universe. Creator is the infant who giggles at me in the grocery line, the beggar who reminds me how rich I really am. The idea that fires my most brilliant moment, the feeling that fuels my most loving act, and the part of me that yearns for that feeling again. Whatever ceremony, ritual, medications, or meditation, maybe medication too, song, thought, or action it takes to reconnect to that feeling is what I need today. Remember. And so, my friends, let's pray. Our Father and Mother who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Excuse me. Sorry. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. Amen. My bad. A little bit of a yawn. So let's continue on with Hunger Games, shall we? Sina takes my icy hands in his warm ones. Suppose when you answer the questions, you think you're addressing a friend back home. Who would your best friend be? Asked Sina. Gail, I say instantly. Only it doesn't make sense, Sina. I would never be telling Gail these things about me. He already knows them. What about me? Could you think of me as a friend? Asked Sina. Of all the people I've met since I left home, Sina is by far my favorite. I liked him right off, and he hasn't disappointed me yet. I think so, but I'll be sitting on the main platform with the other stylists. You'll be able to look right at me. When you're asked a question, find me and answer it as honestly as possible. Even if what I think is horrible, I ask because it might be really. Especially if what you think is horrible, says Sina. You'll try it? I nod. It's a plan, or at least a straw to grasp at. Too soon, it's time to go. The interviews take place on a stage constructed in front of the training center. Once I leave my room, it'll only be minutes till I'm in front of the crowd. The camera is all upon him. As Sina turns the doorknob, I stop his hand. Sina, I'm completely overcome with stage fright. Remember, they already love you, he says gently. Just be yourself. We meet up with the rest of the District 12 crowd at the elevator. Portia and her gang have been hard at work. Peta looks striking in a black suit with flame accents. While we look well together, it's a relief not to be dressed identically. Haymitch and Effie are all fancied up for the occasion. I avoid Haymitch, but accept Effie's compliments. Effie can be tiresome and clueless, but she's not destructive like Haymitch. When the elevator opens, the other tributes are being lined up to take the stage. All 24 of us sit in a big arch throughout the interviews. I'll be last or second to last, since the girl tribute precedes a boy from each district. How I wish I could be first and get the whole thing out of the way. Now I'll have to listen to how witty, funny, humble, fierce, and charming everybody else is before I go up. Plus, the audience will start to get bored, just as the game makers did. And I can't exactly shoot an arrow into the crowd to get their attention. Right before we parade onto the stage, Hey Mitch comes up behind PETA and me and growls, "Remember, you're still a happy pair, so act like it." What? I thought we abandoned that when PETA asked for separate coaching, but I guess that was a private, not a public thing. Anyway, there's not much chance for interaction now as we walk single file to our seats and take our places. Just stepping on the stage makes my breathing rapid and shallow. I can feel my pulse pounding in my temples. It's a relief to get to my chair because between the heels and my legs shaking, I'm afraid I'll trip. Although evening is falling, the city circle is brighter than a summer's day. An elevated seating unit has been set up for prestigious guests, with the stylist commanding the front row. The cameras will turn to them when the crowd is reacting to their handiwork. A large balcony off a building to the right has been reserved for the game makers. Television crews have claimed most of the other balconies, but the city circle and the avenues that feed into it are completely packed with people, standing room only. At homes and community halls around the country, every television set is turned on. Every citizen of Panem is tuned in. There will be no blackouts tonight. Caesar Flickerman, the man who has hosted the interviews for more than 40 years, bounces onto stage. It's a little scary because his appearance has been virtually unchanged during all that time. Same face under a coating of pure white makeup. Same hairstyle that he dyes a different color for each Hunger Games. Same ceremonial suit, midnight blue dotted with 1,000 tiny electric bulbs that twinkle like stars. They do surgery in the Capitol to make people appear younger and thinner. In District 12, looking old is something of an achievement since so many people die early. You see an elderly person, you want to congratulate them on their longevity. That's the secret of survival. A plump person is envied because they aren't scraping by like the majority of us. But here it is different. Wrinkles aren't desirable. A round belly isn't a sign of success. This year, Caesar's hair is powdered blue and his eyelids and lips are coated in the same hue. He looks freakish but less frightening than he did last year when his color was crimson and he seemed to be bleeding. Caesar tells a few jokes to warm up the audience, but then gets down to business. The girl tribute from District 1, looking provocative in a see-through gold gown, steps to the center of the stage to join Caesar for her interview. You can tell her mentor didn't have any trouble coming up with an angle for her. With that flowing blonde hair, emerald green eyes, her body tall and lush, she's sexy all the way. Each interview lasts 3 minutes, then a buzzer goes off and the next tribute is up. I'll say this for Caesar, he really does his best to make the tribute shine. He's friendly, tries to set the nervous ones at ease, laughs at lame jokes, and can turn a weak response into a memorable one by the way he reacts. I sit like a lady the way Effie showed me as the district slipped by. 2, 3, 4. Everyone seems to be playing up some angle. The monstrous boy from District 2 is a ruthless killing machine. The fox-faced girl from District 5, sly and elusive. I spotted Cena as soon as he took his place, but even his presence can't relax me. 8, 9, 10. The crippled boy from 10 is very quiet. My palms are sweating like crazy, but the jeweled dress isn't absorbent and they skid right off if I try to dry them. 11. Rue, who is dressed in a gossamer gown complete with wings, flutters her way to Caesar. A hush falls over the crowd at the sight of this magical wisp of a tribute. Caesar's very sweet with her, complimenting her 7 in training and excellent score for one so small. When he asks her what her greatest strength in the arena will be, she doesn't hesitate. "I'm very hard to catch," she says in a tremulous voice. "And if they can't catch me, they can't kill me. So don't count me out." "I wouldn't in a million years," says Caesar encouragingly. The boy tribute from District 11, Thresh, has the same dark skin as Rue, but the resemblance stops there. He's one of the giants, probably 6.5 feet tall and built like an ox. But I notice he rejected the invitations from the career tributes to join their crowd. Instead, he's been very solitary, speaking to no one, showing little interest in training. Even so, he scored a 10, and it's hard not to imagine he's impressed the game makers. He ignores Caesar's attempts at banter and his answers with a yes or no, or he just remains silent. If only I was his size, I could get away with sullen and hostile, and it would be just fine. I bet half the sponsors are at least considering him. If I had any money, I'd bet on him myself. And then they're calling Katniss Everdeen, and I feel myself, as if in a dream, standing and making my way center stage. I shake Caesar's outstretched hand, and he has the good grace not to immediately wipe his off on his suit. "So, Katniss, the Capitol must be quite a change from District 12. What's impressed you most since you arrived here? asked Caesar. What? What did he say? It's as if the words make no sense. My mouth has gone dry as sawdust. I desperately find Cena in the crowd and lock eyes with him. I imagine the words coming from his lips. What's impressed you most since you arrived here? I rack my brain for something that made me happy. Be honest, I think. Be honest. The lamb stew, I get out. Caesar laughs, and vaguely I realize some of the audience has joined in. The one with the dried plums? Asked Caesar. I nod. Oh, I eat it by the bucketful. He turns sideways to the audience in horror, hand on his stomach. It doesn't show, does it? They shout reassurances to him and applaud. This is what I mean about Caesar. He tries to help you out. Now, Katniss, he says confidentially, when you came out in the opening ceremonies, my heart actually stopped. What did you think of that costume? Cena raises one eyebrow at me. Be honest. You mean after I got over my fear of being burned alive, I asked? Big laugh, a real one from the audience. Yes, start then, says Caesar. Cena, my friend, I should tell him anyway. I thought Cena was brilliant, and it was the most gorgeous costume I'd ever seen. I couldn't believe I was wearing it. I can't believe I'm wearing this either. I lift up my skirt to spread it out. I mean, look at it. As the audience oohs and ahs, I see Cena make the tiniest circular motion with his finger, but I know what he's saying. Twirl for me. I spin in a circle, and the reaction is immediate. Oh, do that again, says Caesar. And so I lift up my arms and spin around and around, letting the skirt fly out, letting the dress engulf me in flames. The audience breaks into cheers, but when I stop, I clutch Caesar's arm. Don't stop, he says. I have to. I'm dizzy. I'm also giggling, which I think I've done maybe never in my lifetime. But the nerves and the spinning have gotten to me. Caesar wraps a protective arm around me. Don't worry, I got you. Can't have you following in your mentor's footsteps. Everyone's hooting as the cameras find Haymitch, who is by now famous for his head dive at the reaping, and he waves them away good-naturedly and points back to me. It's all right, Caesar reassures the crowd. She's safe with me. So how about that training score? 11. Give us a hint what happened in there. I glance at the game makers on the balcony and bite my lip. All I can say, I think it was a first. The cameras are right on the game makers, who are chuckling and nodding. You're killing us, says Caesar, as if in actual pain. Details, details. I address the balcony. I'm not supposed to talk about it, right? The game maker who fell in the punch bowl shouts out. She's not. Thank you. Sorry, my lips are sealed. Let's go back then, to the moment they called your sister's name at the reaping. His mood is quieter now. And you volunteered. Can you tell us about her? No, not all of you, but maybe Cena. I don't think I'm imagining the sadness on his face. Her name's Prim. She's just 12 and I love her more than anything. You could hear a pin drop in the city circle now. What does she say to you after the reaping? Be honest. Be honest. I swallow hard. She asked me to try really hard to win. The audience is frozen, hanging on my every word. And what did you say? Prompts Caesar gently. But instead of warmth, I feel an icy rigidity taking over my body. My muscles tense as they do before a kill. When I speak, my voice seems to have dropped an octave. I swore I would. I bet you did, says Caesar, giving me a squeeze. The buzzer goes off. Sorry, we're out of time. Best of luck, Katniss Everdeen. Tribute from District 12. The applause continues long after I'm seated. I look to Cena for reassurance, and he gives me a subtle thumbs up. I'm still in a daze for the first part of Peeta's interview. He has the audience from the get-go, though. I can hear them laughing, shouting out. He plays up the baker's son thing, comparing the tributes to the breads from their districts. Then has a funny anecdote about the perils of the capital showers. Tell me, do I still smell like roses? He asks Caesar. And then there's a whole run where they take turns sniffing each other that brings down the house. I'm coming back into focus when Caesar asks him if he has a girlfriend back home. Peeta hesitates and gives an unconvincing shake of his head. Handsome lad like you, there must be some special girl. Come on, what's her name? Says Caesar. Peeta sighs. Well, there is this one girl. I've had a crush on her ever since I can remember. But I'm pretty sure she didn't know I was alive until the reaping. Sounds of sympathy from the crowd. Unrequited love they can relate to. She have another fellow? I don't know, but a lot of boys like her, says Peeta. So here's what you do. You win, you go home. She can't turn you down then, eh? Says Caesar encouragingly. I don't think it's going to work out. Winning won't help in my case. Why ever not, says Caesar, mystified. Peeta blushes beet red and stammers out. Because she came here with me. Dun, dun, dun. All right, so So, tomorrow we are going to be officially getting into the games portion. So they've done all the training and the interviews, and so tomorrow we're going to get into the the intense moments of this book. So I'm looking forward to that, and I do hope all of you have a lovely Saturday. Stay safe out there and continue to spread love, and remember that you are loved. And so much love to all of you, and happy Saturday.